Hi, welcome. Hi. So excited you're here. Well, I'm here, and my name is Sonja, and I'm a motion designer. I've been working in the advertising and explainer industry for the past 12 years, and today I'm going to help animate some AI generated graphics, vector graphics to be specific. A friend of mine approached me to collaborate on this project. He's been working on artificial intelligence and creating artwork in that space for the past few weeks, months. He'll tell us all about that. And let's jump in and find out from Albert directly. I'm having trouble switching between German and English. Let's meet Albert. Hi, Albert.
Albert. I like that.
Sorry, your audio was suppressed for a second there, but hopefully now everything is... Yes, you were suppressed.
Okay.
Hopefully everything is coming through now. Hi. Tell us a little bit about yourself and about the background of this project.
Yeah, so I guess I'm from just traditional video production. So I usually do like live action shooting. Here in the pandemic, I got a little more into animating, usually some 3D work as well. But around when 2 months ago the first open source AI image generator came out called Stable Diffusion, I got right into that, installed it on my local GPU, and haven't looked back since. So I've actually built a little YouTube channel just under my own name, Albert Bosezan, where I teach people how to use Stable Diffusion to get actual professional results. Because a lot of people think it's just entering text in a box and getting images out of it, but we're really not there yet. You need to Photoshop, you need to edit stuff, and so some professional skills still are necessary. But yeah, I've figured out even how to get decent vector results out of it, and that's what I sent you. I hope you agree.
Yeah, exciting. I mean, my knowledge around AI generated art is more for like concept art and creating an image in a specific style, including specific things that you want into it. I've never heard of vector art generated by AI. Is that a new thing, or has that been around since AI generated art?
Well, I mean, it's trained on, I think, a couple 100 million images, so it knows all kinds of styles and things. You do need to, obviously, disclaimer, it doesn't give you a vector result directly. It does need to be converted with tools like Illustrator, image trace. But of course, you can't just trace anything, right? If you put a photo into that, it's going to look terrible. So what I tried to figure out was giving the right text to the AI to make it give me, solid colors, strokes, and so forth. In fact, I even actually sketched out a rough version of what I wanted and showed that to the AI to turn it into a nicer image and kind of coax flat colors out of it. And you'll see what that looks like.
Interesting. Okay, so tell me a little bit about the idea behind this specific project that you've asked me to collaborate on.
Well, I thought, I want to do something Halloween themed, and because that's coming up, and I miss it because for some reason Germany doesn't celebrate it as much. A lot of stores moved straight to Christmas.
I know.
Which is
what is happening? I mean, they did it for a few years. It was like,
it was better.
Yeah, it was lots of Halloween, and now straight to Christmas, jumping any Halloween related things. Yeah. Weird. Okay, yeah, so it's a Halloween related project. Nice.
Yeah, so I went just straight for all the cliches, right? I wanted to do some simple stuff, like a big pumpkin right in the middle, or a jack-o'-lantern rather, so with the cutout eyes and everything. A creepy haunted tree, the moon in the background, and I also put a little haunted house in the far right, which I'm not super happy with, but it was a nice challenge to try to get as close as I can. I also, of course, recorded this whole project, which is going to be a video on my channel in a couple days, I think. But
yeah, so for anybody watching this who wants to see the actual process of the AI generation and creating the assets that I'll be working on, hop over to Albert's channel. I'll make sure to put the link in the description. And could you tell us again any handles that people might want to go to? Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you are.
Yeah, it's just my name, which
On
is
the
of course
internet.
not as simple as you think. Right, so it's just Albert Bose is on everywhere. I also just put it in the chat, and I think you can just click on my channel. No, I don't think so, but that's the channel I use for those tutorials as well that I just chatted with. Yeah, and that's all over the internet. I wasn't very creative with my handle.
No, I think simple is good. I'm just going to quickly find the full URL, and maybe
hi,
we can
Steffi.
post that. Hi, Steffi. Thanks for joining the stream. So I'm going to try and post your YouTube URL in the chat. Sometimes YouTube suppresses URLs. I don't know if that's just from other people or also from me. But on that channel, you can watch all sorts of videos and shorts, mainly, right? Around AI generation.
Yeah, I do. I usually test out my viewers' interest by posting a short first, and then if there's enough interest, I do some way too long tutorial. I started out with 20 minutes, and then people said, "Hey, stop skipping stuff. I like to time lapse through stuff that is easy in my view." And so the videos are now like an hour long.
I mean, if you're into this stuff and you want to get to the nitty gritty of the craft, then it takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Albert. I'm going to have a look at the Illustrator file and see what we can do with that. And with that, I will bid you goodbye. Thank you for joining the intro of the stream. And hopefully I can make you proud with my animation.
Well, thank you for trying. I'm glad I get to leave before you look at my files. So that way I can't be found responsible. But I will be watching, and I'm excited to see what you do with it.
Well, stay in the chat, give your feedback.
Yeah.
If I'm stuck with anything, feel free to nudge me in the right direction. And yeah, everyone else watching who is interested in AI generated art, go make sure to check out Albert's channel. All
Thanks,
right.
and see you soon in my video.
See you soon. Bye. All right, let's jump into it. Let's have a look at this file. I had a very quick sneak peek. I'm going to have to squish Illustrator down a little bit before I jump into the screen share. And then we can have a look-see what we're working with. Okay, here we go. OBS is still slightly too large. Let's squish that out of the way. And this is the scene. So, as you can see, we've got the pumpkin, the aforementioned jack-o'-lantern, and Albert has kindly separated out the eyes. Let's double check. I think the shadow is still in there. I wonder... sorry, I wonder if I want to keep that... If I want to keep that in the main lantern. So I think I might want to bring this back into the fold. And also, what I want to make sure is that this lantern actually has a background, because if I start to flicker the eyes on and off, I need to not see the scene through those eyes. So let's add a little background here. And no shade to you, Albert, for some of the things I'm fixing up. Illustrating or designing assets for animation is a very specific skill, and there are certain things that you need to keep in mind that sometimes you just don't know that this is necessary as an asset creator or illustrator or designer. So don't worry at all that I'm now retouching your artwork. So let's just make this large enough to cover the mouth and the eyes, and then we'll make it the same color as this and put it behind the jack-o'-lantern. And also I want to obviously make sure that we're not cutting into here. Let's something like that. So now we can't see it, but if we turn down the opacity on this, we can see that this will flicker correctly. Actually, I probably want this to be hollow. I probably don't want this to be the same color as the jack-o'-lantern. Maybe I want this to be this, like, yeah, that's probably more like it. So when this flickers on and off, it's actually dark behind, but we don't see the scene. So one more thing that I'm missing is there is some of this here, which somehow got hidden away. I think we want that up front as well with this color. Oh, what happened to that? Why don't we see it? Okay, so let's go with this. So we see that, but we want that to be able to flicker as well, I think. So what I'll do is I'll double up on this, put it back into the eyes, and make this orange so that we can flicker everything and we have something underneath. So that way it doesn't necessarily disappear, but we've got something there. But something is not working the way I'm expecting it to. Okay, here we go. Let's test that pumpkin again. Okay, this is what we want. So we want the color of the shading here, or the cut off parts, to also flicker with the light, but we obviously need something behind it, otherwise it just disappears. So yeah, nice, we've got that sorted. We've got the pumpkin as one, we've got the shadows separately. Maybe this grass can be separated out as well. I'm not sure I'm gonna add a whole lot to this, but maybe I want to, and I just want to be prepared to be able to do that. So I'll just group this out into the little strands. Obviously it gets a little bit difficult with things like this. Like this is obviously cut off. It doesn't pass through the back of this one. So maybe I just need to keep this as one. Or I can merge it. So I can just try and sort of go in here, cut this point in half, and then cut this one open. Then we can jump in here. It's always hard to know if it's the one above or the one below that gets cut. And then I can rejoin it, and that way I have one continuous, what is it? A grass, what do you call a single grass thingy? In German you say Grashalm, I think. In English it's a single grass. I don't know. A piece of grass. I don't know. Okay, let's smooth this out. Doesn't have to be perfect since the whole grassy thing isn't perfect anyway. And we want to grab the second one as well. And hopefully you can hear me while I'm talking. Yes, you can. Okay. I might need to turn down the desktop audio, although we're not using that anymore. Okay, and if you do have questions while I'm working, let me know. I am happy to answer any work process questions while I'm setting this up. Sometimes I don't split the anchor points. I just delete one that I know I don't need. That way I'm opening up the shape and then I can join it again with another shape. And it can be something like this. And now we have a whole shape, and I don't think it matters that this one is cut off at the top. It's just kind of works anyway. So let's, oh, now it's on top of that one. Interesting. Okay. So let's group this one. Let's group this one. And let's group these two as well. And then let's group these two. I don't want to do too much work here just because I'm not sure if I'm actually going to do too much to this. So a little bit of prep work, but not so much that I'm wasting time with something that I don't know if I'm going to be using. So I'm being very conscious about the amount of time I'm investing into this. Not questionable, what's the word? Speculative work. Oh, that didn't join. There we go. So I'm trying to work very fast to minimize the fallout of the amount of work that I'm putting into this. So let's just say this is one. Let's group that. Let's group this. Sure. Oh, that's into different groups, it says. It's not. What are you talking about? Can't group objects that are within different groups. Okay, that's weird. Okay, sure. Let's just group you guys and then these three. Ah, no, this is already one group. Okay, but now we have a whole bunch of single little pieces here. What are these pieces? That's weird. Okay. So, must have not grouped everything. Okay, that's that. That's that one. That's that one. What's this? Some little piece at the end. Maybe I'll just group that with this one. And then, what's this? I'll just delete a few random things. Wait, maybe not. Maybe I'll just add it to this. Oh, no. Ah, okay, there's like a whole thing here missing. Okay, let's put that in there. Now we are starting to cut down on the amount of pieces we have. That's great. This belongs here. This belongs to this, I guess. And, ooh, I'm just gonna remove those. I don't think we necessarily need them. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So, simplified this a little bit and cut it down. This should probably be above. Okay, there we go. And now we can split this group up, and there's a very easy way. You just highlight the layer. There's also shadows. These are the shadows. We can generate a shadow. It's fine. We don't need that. Maybe I'll leave it as a reference just so I know that I have to generate that shadow. Now we can click this little ring target and then go to the burger icon on your layers. It's not, unfortunately, it's out of frame. And let me move Illustrator a tad. Okay. Then you want to choose Release to Layers Sequence. And then you have the single layers of this. And I have a very nifty renaming script, which is, I think, Shift F2. Yep. It's the rename layers. It's a script I found on an Adobe forum once, which is now no longer available. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, we will call this grass and just give it a bunch of numbers. Now it's grass 1 to 10. It's good enough. Good. I think what would be nice is to have this front of the house flicker as well. So I might separate this out. Let's see, because some things might be above and below. So if it's too difficult to separate this out, I might not do it, but let's see. Let's see how much breaks when I do this. Okay, let's undo. Redo? Yeah. Okay, so some stuff has to be above, some stuff has to be below. So the lowest point of where this is, oh my god, there are so many pieces. Oh dear. Okay. We can just put it at the bottom, maybe, hopefully. Let's see. Let's see if we can just separate this group out. Does that work? Does this look the same? A blade! It's a blade of grass. Thanks, Albert. I hope this looks the same to you as before. This should be. And obviously we need, again, the solid of the house. So let's duplicate this group, put it back in, and color it the color of the front of the house, well, the side of the house. And then it's not going to flicker the same as the pumpkin does, but it might waver just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of life, you know, the light from the moon. So let's see if that works. If I now put this, no, it has to be, it cannot be below. I mean, it can, but I obviously cannot put this one above. It has to be below. So another layer below. Illustrator, stop being annoying. Okay, I'm just gonna cut it. Okay, and then I'm gonna put it back in. But it didn't color it in correctly. I wonder if that's because we are using a opacity here. No. I'll just, yep, change the color to that. And now if we take down the opacity of this, we should see a change in light. Nice. Okay, good. That now also means that we need to separate this out. The mansion, let's sequence those layers, and we will copy paste the name of the mansion. Then we have the mansion moonlit. Then we have the mansion front. Then we have the mansion shadow. So I'm using this underscore naming convention. Doesn't really mean anything, it's just my preferred look. And now I'm going to name my scene, starting with my VFX naming standard, which is starting with the 0, even though in this case it's, starting with the 0 because 0, 1 until 10, or 0, 9, and then 10. And then the last 0 is so that in between two scenes, if you have multiple scenes, you can sandwich one in between without destroying your numbering sequence, is something I learned from my VFX friends in London. In this case, obviously, it doesn't matter. We don't have multiple scenes, but never break your habit. Always name your scenes, stick to your conventions, stick to your structures and standards, and then it'll just become a habit that you will never break, and you will be the best motion designer in the world. Okay, I think now we have everything separated. I think this tree, we can make it wave a little bit with pins, with puppet pins. Let's see if I need to do anything else here. I'm not going to change the look. I'm going with the look prescribed by Albert. We've got these like stars. I wonder if I want to separate them out. I can do a little bit to those as well. Let's see. Let's separate them out just in case I want to change something around them. Okay. I might want to make them flicker, you don't know. Don't tell me what to do. Stars. What is this? Ah, I already created a layer, never mind. Stars, forest. That's it, right? If I do want to make them flicker, I actually would need to separate out every single one. Can I be bothered doing that? I mean, it doesn't take a lot of work. I could just do that. That's a lot of layers. Yikes. Sure, why not? Give it a little bit more life. Let's do it. 1 million stars coming up. Actually, only 96. Actually, it's less than that because it starts with 27. But anyway. Why are some of these shaped so weird? Okay, so now I'm gonna highlight only the layers that I want to name with my layer naming script. If you're interested in finding out how the script works and using it, I might release that on my Patreon. If you didn't know that I have a Patreon, you'd like to support me and get cool benefits and goodies and bonuses and whatever else people call them on the internet, you can go to patreon.com/SonjaMGFX. Very easy to remember. And yeah, you can become one of my patrons and you can snag the ultimate project folder that I don't know if you saw this when I was saving out something. But this is the ultimate project folder. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. You've got info where you have a brief section with a filled out creative brief for your client projects. You have a feedback folder with a Excel sheet for video feedback. I know there are much more intuitive tools for that, but you know, if you want to keep everything in one folder, that's where it is. You've got a design folder with an Illustrator template for motion design animation in After Effects. You have a After Effects template with my wiggle preset, with my bounce preset, with a bunch of little presets and folders and the naming structure for my scenes all set up in there. So if you're interested in snagging that, you can get that as a perk, that's the word, as a perk. Sorry, I hope you saw most of that because, yeah, you did. Now let's switch back to me. Back to me. Yeah, so that's available as a perk on my Patreon. If you're interested in snagging this script for renaming layers, let me know in the comments or in the chat, and I might be willing to put that up as a perk on Patreon. Okay, let's rename these little stars. Here we go. So it's just star 70. There's 70 stars. This is not a star. Oh, it is. But why is it white? Okay. Never mind. Not important. All right. I think we are ready. Let's bring it into After Effects. So I've already saved it as a scene. Now I'm switching over to my After Effects file that I've already set up. Control I to bring in anything. In my case, this scene. Where are we here? Albert. And I've saved it in my assets scenes, and I want to make sure, or you want to make sure when you're importing Illustrator files into After Effects, that you choose Import as Composition, Retain Layer Sizes. And then we just want to import. It will automatically create a composition from our import. Wow, that's taking longer than usual. I wonder why. How heavy is this file? Okay, it's finished. So, first thing I do once I import an Illustrator file into After Effects is duplicate the composition that it created upon import, because I want to keep my untouched original import comp, and I want to animate in a secondary duplicated comp. So I have a bunch of subcomps here pre-set up, and I'm going to replace this dummy scene file. And I also need to double check the size of this composition. So we can do that by looking at, oh, okay, sorry, there's one more thing that I need to make sure is in place, and that is a secondary artboard. Because if I import, let's undo what we've done in Illustrator, After Effects, sorry. Every time I'm working simultaneously in Illustrator and After Effects, I cannot keep the names separated. Okay, so if I only have the one artboard and sorry, I thought I heard something, and my artwork is reaching outside of that artboard, it gets clipped right at the artboard. But if I have a secondary artboard, which is, let's say, 7,400 large, I can animate inside of this larger artboard. That doesn't show up in After Effects, but it gets recognized. It gets recognized as the border, as the boundary of that composition. So, and I think it has to be the first artboard. Let's look at, there's a template for this. If you go to New in Illustrator, you go to New, you go to Film and Video, there is a template for this. I don't recommend using that template though, because there is a slight mistake that the good folks at Adobe have made. And that is, have a look. Oops, sorry. No, I just closed that. That was the wrong shortcut. I know I am going on a bit of a tangent, but I think this is quite important. Let's bring the ruler out. And you can see that in the center of this Adobe Illustrator video and animation template, I think that's what it's called, we have two artboards. We have the big artboard and we have the artboard in the size that we want our scene to be. Of course, you can have different animation methods. You can just make your artboard larger. So I could just make this this artboard much, much larger, so it just encompasses my entire artwork. But I prefer to bringing my scenes in the size that I want to export the video out as. So back to the Adobe Illustrator template. We've got the smaller artboard in 1920 by 1080, the size we want our scene to be, and the larger artboard. Now you'll notice when I click on the larger artboard in the Illustrator template, up here at the top, let's see if I can zoom in and you can see that, up here at the top, they are not aligned. Your scene artboard is 960 by 540 on the center reference point, which is good. We want that. the second artboard is at 960.5 pixels and 540.5 pixels. And for the longest time, and that does something. When you import your artwork into After Effects, it will read the position of the second artboard in relation to your 1920 by 1080 artboard and shift all of your artwork by 0.5 pixels. For the longest time I was using this template, I couldn't figure out why every time I had to reset my background layer that was exactly 920 by 1080, every time I imported it into After Effects, I had to reset the position of the background layer because it was always slightly off. So this is why, because this Adobe Illustrator film and video template, artboard template, is not accurate. So I encourage you to create your own where this secondary artboard, if you want to use this method, is actually in the same position as your scene artboard. So anyway, we do know that it needs to be on the second position now, and I also want to make sure that this is at points. Okay, we don't want to work in points. That's one other thing that I need to change. I'm bringing the ruler out and I'm changing it from points to pixels. Doesn't make a lot of difference. The numbers are the same, but just want to make sure that we're working in the right format. So our artboard is at 540 by 540. Great. I want our big artboard to also be in exactly the same position, and I don't want to drag my artwork, so I'm turning that off. So now let's put this to 540 times 540. Now everything is exactly center. Now we can import this again. Always takes such a long time. Is this so heavy? Why does it take so long? It's 2 megabytes. I mean, kind of big, but it's not that big that it would need to... Weird. Of course, I forgot to start the recording on the stream. No, this always happens when I collab. Sorry, Albert. I'm gonna have to download it from like YouTube or Twitch. And we're gonna have to wait for that download to complete. All right, let's see, has this? Yes. So first things first, let's duplicate this. Let's remove the 2 from the naming. Let's drag it in here. Let's replace this again. Let's remove this, we don't need it. Comps, I have a lot of subfolders, which right now seem a little bit heavy for this project, but trust me when I say it's important to be organized. Okay, so we're working at 540 times 540. Oh, no, we're not. No, sorry. That was just the center of the comp. So we are working at 1080 by 1080, obviously. Always want to work at the highest size. Cropped down from 1920 by 1080. And I just realized I was wearing my headphones the whole time when I didn't need to. Now my hair is probably all kinds of scruffed. Okay, well, it is Halloween. I'm a witch now. Okay, so where are we? We've got our scene. Great. We've got, let's make sure everything is in the right position. We probably want to keep this at 6 seconds as my template comp has already been set to, because this is kind of like a GIF style animation. So we want this to be short, snappy. I think the reason I chose 6 seconds is because I often animated in 60 frames per second, which, you know, 6 seconds works really nicely. 6, everything is divisible by 6. And also there was a minimum of 5 seconds of animation for Instagram at some point. So at some point, I just decided that was my length for animated GIFs. I don't think that's always necessary, but let's just aim for that, see what we can do here. So, first of all, I want my comp to start at 59 minutes. If you don't know why I'm doing that, you can ask me in the chat. I can explain again, or you can watch my tutorial related to that topic. No, this is the beginning of the animation. And if you are interested in that, let me find the link to that tutorial and I can share it with you. You can search for my tutorial channel, which is Sonja MGFX. It's this one. So where you are watching, if you're watching on YouTube right now, that's my streaming channel, but I also have a separate tutorial channel, and on there, I'm pretty sure that I have a tutorial around using, what is this called? It's got a specific name. It's the start time code, and I'm pretty sure it's in. Let me show you. I'm pretty sure it's in this one. 3 hot tips for junior motion designers. Pretty sure it's in here. Let's see. We've got animation process. Just move. Go, so that's how I would go about. I'm not sure what I'm talking about. Annotated markers. Continuously blur it, but if you turn it on, it will. And what is the third one? Continuously rasterize. Okay, no, I actually didn't yet release a tutorial around that. Damn, who knew? Okay, well, I'm gonna have to, I guess. But if you are wondering, there are lots and lots of streams where I keep talking about why I'm doing that. In summary, I want to be able to see the back of my composition, and I want my timecode still to start at 0, essentially. It's 1 hour, but nobody knows, you know? My timecode starts essentially at 0. But I can push things back without, you know, losing sight of it. If I started at 0, of the comp, I could no longer see this behind here. And sometimes you need to shift stuff. You need to sequence layers, and then you have to start sometime down the line, and then your animation doesn't start at 0 because you have to shift some layers forward, because you can't shift them back, because you can't click on the keyframes, and so on. So that's a very summarized version of why I use 1 hour start time code. Okay, so let's highlight these. Let's make this a guide layer, remove the color. Just so I know all of the things that are supposed to be together. We have hill 2. Do we have 2 hills? No, I don't know. Okay, let's make this blue. Let's make the tree like yellow. And this as well. The mansion can be cyan. I'm about to sneeze. Let's make this blue as well. Then we have the moon, which can be, I don't know, peach. And let's all of these stars can be peach. And we have the forest. Let's make that blue as well. And we have the background, which is going to be brown. I tend to keep my backgrounds brown. Okay, first thing I want to do, let's do all of the flickering motions. And what I'm going to do for flickering is using a wiggle expression. And I have a wiggle setup here where I have a controller layer. I usually use a null control for my layers. I'm not sure if this is a null control, but let's see if we reset this. Yes, it's a null control. Yay! And I have two sliders on here, one for frequency, one for amplitude. And they work together with expressions on these dummy layers, which I can right-click and I can do like rotation, for example. I can right-click. Oh, you are not able to see that on screen. Okay, right-click. And it's just here, just at the bottom of the screen there. No, just one lower. Okay, right-click, copy expression only. That's the one I want, but I want a single value property. So not scale, that has two values, not position, that has two values. I want to use rotation, which has one value, just like opacity has one value. And we want to go back to, I'm going to move the render queue over there. I also, sorry, I'm jumping around. I also want to give this a color so that I know that I'm animating not in the template, in the imported composition, which is still brown, but I'm animating in the duplicated one. So I want to just give this, usually I make this orange. Okay, so back to here. We have our controller layer here. We want to copy this one first. And you can set this up yourself. You can just create a null object, which is, I think, Control-Shift-Alt-Y. Yep, that creates a null object. Then you can go to the effects and presets, go to control, use a slider control, whack that slider control on there, and then you're going to have to use the wiggle expression, which I've already preset here. So the wiggle expression looks like so. It says wiggle, frequency, and amplitude. That just means like move it between two values. The values are frequency and amplitude. I linked these two to the slider controls on my control layer and gave them numbers. Frequency is usually something relatively low. Amplitude is usually something high. Depends on how, how vivid you want the animation to be. Frequency is like how often do you want this to happen in 1 second. And amplitude is the curve, the curve. How peaked do you want this curve to be? How high, how in position, how far do you want this to move, for example? So let's add this to all of the stars, not the moon. Actually, maybe I should give the moon a different color. I can now highlight this label group. I can just click on the label group, left click, select label group, and then it will highlight all the layers that have the same color. And then, since I copied the expression already for the wiggle, I was going to paste it directly, but that would paste it directly to the rotation where I copied it from. First, I need to paste it to the position, the property I want it to be on. Then I can copy expression only again, highlight that label group, paste it to all of them, because now it knows it needs to go to opacity, and it will apply all of them to the opacity. Now, let's see how much this flickers. I think the flicker isn't very extreme for this. Let's also go to like 6 seconds and crop our work area here. Oops. There we go. And let's see how much these are flickering. Probably almost none. They are flickering between like 93 and 100. We're not going to see that, right? Also, now that I've changed this, now that I've linked the expression with this control layer, I can rename the layer. If I do that before, it will look for the layer that the expression was linked to previously, and you'll get an error. So first you need to create, if you've created this before, obviously this is coming from my preset, which by the way is one of the perks of on my Patreon. But if you create this and duplicate it to other comps, you want to not change the name before you've pasted the expression, and then you can change the name of the control layer. So we've got frequency. I think I want this just to flicker a little bit more, and it needs to flicker at least 50% before we start seeing anything. So I can see something already, but let's wait. It might be too much. It's flickering a little bit, right? It's not too frequent, it's not too much, I think. Maybe faster. Maybe 2. Maybe that might be too extreme, I don't know. Also, if we want this to be looped, I need to use the looped expression. Looped wiggle. And I have not added that to my presets yet, but I think I may have saved it to my personal animation presets. Let's have a look. If not, I'm going to try and find it. Let me find it in my personal folders. I have a folder for all kinds of expressions, and one of them is looped expression, which is a Dan Ebert expression, I think. I think Dan Ebert is the guy who created this. So what I can do is I'll just paste it in here. So now all I need to do for here is replace frequency and amplitude with my frequency and amplitude. And that will create a loop. I also need to define the length of my loop. I can do that here. I usually don't like adding loop duration. Just adding numbers to my expressions, because then you have to, I have 70 stars. I can't keep on going in and changing the number every time I want to make a change. So I want to link this to another slider on my wiggle control. Let's duplicate this duration. And for now, it's 6 seconds. Might change, but that's okay. And I've locked the toggle viewer lock so that it doesn't disappear when I click on a different layer. Then I'm going to add that here, and then I'm going to add this variable to my expression. Now it works. Copy expression, highlight label group, paste expression, and now that is looping that wiggle. I don't see it wiggling. Something seemed to have stopped. Ah, okay. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I think that's fine for now. All right, we want to do a similar thing for the pumpkin eyes. Let's see how much we can see that. I think this I want to wiggle a little bit more. Oops. Pumpkin. Okay, there we go. All right, let's stop the playback. And let's change the wiggle expression. We'll need to relink this to the correct layer, which is that one. So that it takes the right intensity. And let's make the frequency much faster. And maybe wiggle even more. No, 50 is probably enough. Okay, let's see. I think... what if I make this wiggle 80? A little bit too rapid. I don't know if I love that. Let's take it down to 60 amplitude, 2.5 frequency. I think that's pretty good. Okay. Let's see if we can add the flicker to the house as well. And I'm gonna take the expression from the stars. That might be too intense. I might have to separate that out as well, but let's see. Yeah, that's too intense. That needs its own wiggle. So, mansion. And let's change. And let's bring that down to like 30 and 1. Let's see. I mean, I don't know if we see it a lot, but I don't know if we need to see it a lot, you know? It's more like giving life to the scene rather than something very, very obvious. Okay, so one other thing we want is we want a drop shadow to these blades of grass. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a null control grass, and I'm going to add a drop shadow to one of these for now. I want the color to be the color of the original drop shadow. And let's solo this, and let's solo the drop shadow imitation. I don't know if this is gonna work, because obviously a drop shadow is slightly different to your regular shadow. Maybe I have to take the scene and flip it for it to properly work. Let's see. So I want the shadow to be here. Yeah, you can't really do that, can you? Because I need the shadow to be actually flipped, not just... yeah, I need the shadow to be flipped. Okay, let's do this differently. Let's not use a drop shadow. Let's animate the scene, and then I'll just flip the scene. Okay, I'm going to move the anchor points to the bottom of each of these, aside from these last few. Actually, they need to be very exactly at the bottom of this. Oh. That's a big one. It's weird. And obviously, because they're supposed to be, you know, sitting at... which one's this one? Ah, this one. Okay. They can't move too much. But because they're supposed to be growing from the ground, they can't move too much. Oh, that's this one. Okay. Otherwise, we can see it lifting from the ground. But let's see. We can also hide it by just bringing a layer above. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we're gonna do with this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add a wiggle to this. And so we do actually need that control layer. No, I'm gonna need the wiggle grass. And now we're not gonna do opacity, we're going to do rotation. So let's bring this back. I can copy the same expression. I just need to highlight the new property, paste that, change this to grass, replace all of those. That's obviously way, way, way too much. I want this to wiggle a maximum of like 3, just so we have like a tiny little bit of movement. Yeah, exactly. See, we can't even tell that it's not, that it's like moving flat on top of the ground, lifting each corner. We can't even see that. So that's excellent. We can copy that expression, select label group, and we have some life. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Excellent. And now we need to pre-comp this. And now I'm going to show you, first of all, yeah, I'll need to show you 2 things. I'm going to pre-comp, Control-Shift-C. I'm going to make this a subcomp, which means it's the same comp name as the parent comp, but it has a little A next to it. Grass. Now it's the same size as the comp it came from, which I don't like. And also I'm going to cut this down, give this a new color. Also in here, give this a new color. What I'm going to do is I'm going to crop this. I can do that by going here, region of interest. I can create this region of interest. Then I can go to composition, crop, comp to region of interest. I'm going to double check so that this is some normal numbers, appropriate numbers. And this is going to have moved these blades of grass, but that's okay. We have the shadow reference, and also it doesn't really matter if it's in exactly the same position. So let's put that here. Let's bring this up here. Now I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to right-click, transform, flip. I think vertically is the one that I want. Yes, nice. And now I'm going to give this a fill effect. And I'm going to fill it with the color of the reference, which is this color. And now we have blades of grass that need to sit slightly higher, I guess. I can rotate this a little bit, I think. Yeah, so we're matching. And hopefully, because it's the same composition, the movement should be exactly the same. Yeah, boy! Nice! Wanna see what we've got so far? We've got a bunch of light effects, and we've got blades of grass that is moving way too fast. Okay, let's calm this grass down a little bit. Let's put it down to 0.5, I think, is probably as fast as it should. Oh, no, not again. Okay, I need to close the project, because every time I go full screen, it seems to not want to come back. Okay. Oh. Okay, I have to close Illustrator After Effects down completely. Let's open it back up. Maybe we can have the tree just slightly move into frame and then move out of frame. I mean, not into frame, but like, you know, creak in. This would be far, far cooler with sound effects, but I don't think we have a whole lot of time to do that. But maybe, you know, if you stick around and you want to see some sound effect work on this, we can make that happen next stream. Now, this doesn't want to do what I want it to do. Come on, After Effects, stop. Okay, give me a second. I need to reset my screens together with OBS. Okay, there we go. Nice. Okay, so we've got that. We can maybe have the pumpkin jump up. And how about we need position and scale, and potentially position. Hello? No. Position, scale, and rotation. Because we want this to squish. Actually, just... what if this, like... ooh, okay. We need to put this on a null object because we have the eyes that have to come along. Excuse me. Okay, so we don't need these here. We need this position, rotation, scale. So let's have this squish down by 90, 110 up. And then it moves, it jumps, up, 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 up. Nope. Up, 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 up. And this deflates itself. And then it goes back down. Maybe a little faster than before. And then this squishes again. Go back to this. And then back to this. Now we need to get the curves and the timing right for this, but something like this could work. Way too slow. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. Let's work with shorter keyframes. Let's bring this down. And when we arrive, no, this should be F. Maybe this should be 75%. Let's see. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This obviously has to happen much faster. Let's see. Okay, and maybe it rotates a little bit as it's jumping up. So it rotates up. Boo. I think it needs a secondary rotation null object that is in the center of this. So pumpkin, no. Wait, I want this to be in the center. Okay, there we go. Pumpkin rotation. And we want, obviously, this to be paired like this. I don't have the rotation here because I want it to rotate from the center, but I want the squashing to be at the bottom of the pumpkin. So we need to have different controls here. I could, of course, also parent the eyes to the pumpkin and do it that way, but I prefer not animating, not linking layers to each other, but instead having controllers that layers are parented to. I prefer that method. What? Why is this? No! This is still in the wrong position. What's going on? Okay, there we go. Of course. So I do, in fact, need to parent the eyes to the pumpkin and the pumpkin to the... Yeah. Okay. Obviously, the eyes need to rotate with the pumpkin head, so I do need to do it like that. Okay. So let's do like -5. It doesn't need to rotate a lot. To make my life easier, I probably wanted to rotate back to 0 by the time it gets here, but maybe we'll do something else. Let's see. So it's jumping up and it needs to rotate just slightly more. Maybe we go for 10. So then, but maybe it can continue rotating as we're going down. And then as it squishes, we want it to jump up just a tiny little bit. And then it can, and actually no, I wanted to rotate. Yep, jump up, bounce, rotate that way. And then go back to normal. And rotate back to 0. Obviously, the timing is all kinds of wrong, but let's have a look. Yeah, that's all kinds of bad, but... So we've got bounce, boink. and this rebounds, reshape takes too long, so we don't want that to be that long. Okay, so it's... Oh. Why is the rotation not at 0? You want... Wait, something went wrong here. Okay, there we go. Maybe this happens just before. Okay, there's a lot wrong with this. So, bounce. I think this just needs to go bounce. 1, 2, 3. It just needs to be faster, I think. Okay, so we're bouncing 1, 2. And I think this I need to... Okay. Okay. So sorry, I haven't been talking a lot. Kind of need to figure out how this needs to happen. Okay. And then this also needs to be like this. Okay, let's see. It's going to be all kinds of off. We're gonna have to fix it. It's way too bouncy. And I don't think it really needs to move all that much. And the squish is obviously way too intense. So let's go 105.95. And then at this point, we'll just do a 102. 98. Okay. Oh, let's see. Okay, still a little too bouncy. And also, I think the shadow isn't in the right place, but it's okay. So we have a then up, then bounce, then up, then bounce. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, maybe after it bounces at this point. It doesn't need to go up anymore. It can just go directly to this point. This is still too extreme. Okay, let's see if this works better. It's not perfect, especially since it's not bouncing from whatever rotation point this is on. I think I don't need to change this. Let's just leave it in the same position. Oh no, actually it does need to move. That's better. Yeah, that's better. A little bit cartoonish, I have to admit. But you know, we're working with limited time here. I'm trying to get this done in today's stream. So we need to make a few concessions. Some reason there's like a little blip in the house. It's not looping. The mansion is not looping. Ah, that's because we are at 3 seconds. We could do it at 3 seconds. Makes for a snappier GIF. And then we just need to change the duration. I can have an overall duration here. So if I bring back another slider control, duration. Oh, I had something else clicked. And then this will be 3. And now we can just look at everything that has a duration variable. Ooh, that's gonna be a lot of work. Okay, I'm gonna do it differently. I'm gonna take these sliders, and instead I'm going to link this to that one to unify all of the sliders. I think we only have these sliders here, right? We have 3 sliders here. Let's see. Did I get all of them? No. And then we also have the one in the grass, but not to worry that it's not in the same composition. I can link across compositions. It doesn't have to sit in the same composition. So let's have a look. Ah, I didn't crop my... Oh, these are moving very, very slowly now. Maybe I'll move them just a tiny little bit more, because right now... What if I move them at 1? Is that too much? Could be fine. It's that first jump that is weird. It's that first tumble that is weird. I wonder if I can make that a little bit better. I think maybe I just need this to move slightly. Yeah. I think that's better. Come on. Pre-comp. Ah, okay, but this should no longer be a hard keyframe. And this is now slightly too short, maybe. Doesn't have enough time to roll over there. I think the scale needs to start sooner. Maybe like this, let's see. Ah, okay. This is too long. Okay, I get it now. Yeah. Okay, here we go. No. I don't know what I'm misunderstanding. Okay, we've got... I think this doesn't need to be there. Okay, let's see. And if this is... I think this can be stretched a little bit. Actually, this can be in its original position. Let's see. Okay, a little bit too far. A little bit too far. But I think this needs to be a hard keyframe. So is this one. Okay, now we should have the right timing. Let's see. Hello? Hello? Why is there such a delay between it? Like... Oh, okay. Hmm. Can't get the timing right. Something off here. Ah, okay. Maybe... No. Let's not change the stuff that already works. This part is what doesn't work. So it like bounces. So we can't have this stop here. Maybe it is this one. No. No, I broke the thing that already worked. Okay. Undo. Maybe it's the rotation. The rotation needs to start at... Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah, okay. Okay, think I got it. Let's see. It's not perfect, but I can't keep going. I'm just gonna leave it. So now we have to obviously adjust for the bouncing, adjust the scale of the shadow for the bouncing. So this needs to get smaller as the pumpkin goes up and then back to normal. But also, no, it doesn't move. It moves at this point. I don't know if I need to add a movement to this. Uh, 95. Okay. Oh yeah, wait, it also needs to do the squat. And also needs to become slightly larger during the squish. I mean, I guess it's kind of a similar thing as this. I wonder if I can just... I'll just copy this. And I'll just parent that to that. That looks kind of okay. But it doesn't squish quite as much, so let's not do it. Let's bring this back. I don't think we need this one. Let's go 110 on this. Okay, let's have a look. Whee! Bounce, bounce, bounce. The bounce is not perfect. I know that. It looks a little bit comical, but we're working with what we've got with the time constraints that we've got. I will move the... Hello? I will try and move the tree, and I'll try and use a wiggle as well. Don't know if this is going to work as well as the other ones because the tree is slightly larger. It would be more obvious. Let's see. Let's see. The tree is here. And we need... no, we need the rotation. We need the blade. No, that's going to... Okay, never mind. Let's just get this one. Obviously. Way too much. Nice. Okay, got it. Now we need to adjust for how much it's going to wiggle. Obviously, only very little. I don't think this is going to work. But let's have a look. It works. Well, I mean, kind of. I think you see the roots moving a little too much. What if I put this like here? Might make it less obvious that the roots are moving. And if I make this rotate even less, like 2, We just need a slight, little tiny bit rotation. And we can see the roots moving quite a bit, which is a bit of a shame. But maybe it's still rotating too much, huh? Let's bring it back. It's literally just a tiny little creaking motion where we don't see the roots moving too much. Let's see, maybe I can also bring the anchor point closer to this side of the roots, which will make them look less like they're moving. And then we're gonna have a look at this. It's not ideal. The roots are moving quite a bit, but we've got something. Maybe I will bring the rotation down even more. And okay, one more thing. I don't know, did we even see the stars? Yeah, the stars are kind of blinking, right? If you focus on them, you can see how they're blinking. And maybe, actually, maybe we will make it 6 seconds long because we can even add a little script over the top, like Happy Halloween or something. Let's add Happy Halloween. Let's see if we have any fun fonts that we can use for this. Obviously you're not able to see them. Let's put them here. Let's see. Do we have any Halloweeny fonts? I'm thinking something fat with like an outline. Maybe this. Oh, okay. Let's make it orange with this color brown outline. Let's make it a lot larger. Let's make it center aligned. And let's maybe give it a drop shadow of this color. Let's see. Let's put the distance. Okay, and oh. I don't know if this is the can't really see anything with this font. Okay, maybe not the right font. What about something creepy like this one? Magic School. Actually, I think that's kind of going in the right direction. But I think it needs a different color, different main color. Maybe we want to go. Ah, that's better. Yes. Happy Halloween. And does it exist in fat? No. Can I force fat it? A little bit, but not really. What about the other one? Magic School 2. Oh, that's too Harry Potter. No. Oh yeah, we're back to that one. So far my favorite. Can also go, oh, this one's kind of whimsical. Whimsical, I like it. Okay. What about how are we doing on the distance on this one? We can ramp that up. Maybe we want white. Maybe we want this like whitish. Oops, no, not on the fill. On the drop shadow. No, I think dark is better. What if we flip light and dark? Interesting. Okay, yeah. And I also would like to warp it. Time warp, wait warp. I think it's. Is it this one? No. I want it to be on a curve. There is a way to do that, but I don't remember how to do that. Yeah, okay. I mean, good enough. Yeah. Arc lower. Arc. But why is it... Ah, I see. Okay. Reset. So, now we've got it here. Make it slightly smaller. It's a little too warped. Can I have it not warp so much? Arc. Arch. Bulge. Weave? No. Yeah, this is better. Very busy up at the top. I think it needs to be at the bottom instead. But then, rotate. But then it's in the face of the pumpkin. Damn it. I think it has to be at the top. Okay, so let's have a look. We've got the bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. Once it's done bouncing at like this point, we can start the text animation. And we will animate... Actually, I'm gonna use an effect. I'm gonna use the typewriter effect because it adds quite a lot of functionality that I don't have to manually add to this typewriter effect. But I don't want it to typewrite like this. I also I want there to be a randomness to this, and I can add the randomness by saying randomize order. No, not order. No. Random seed. Random. But I would like to randomize the characters. I don't remember how I did that last time. Character offset. I think that's what it was. Character offset. No, maybe it was character value. Was it character value? I don't remember how I did that last time. I was like, randomize the characters as they are coming in. I mean, it must be this, right? This doesn't do anything. Hmm. Not sure what this does. No, it's just giving me flowers. Okay, I don't think it's the thing for this. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the composition now. It's very, very busy. But theoretically, you know, happy Halloween. Also, we can have a ramp up animation, and instead of the start, we can animate the offset. And now we don't see the animation again. To restart. Okay, we're almost done. I'm just going to loop this font animation, text animation, typographic animation, what is it? Kinematic font? No, I don't know. Lots of different terms for animating text. Bring this back into view. And then, let's see. I wonder if I can add a wiggle to that opacity. Let's see. I wonder what this does. Doesn't do anything. I want the characters to, like, the opacity of the characters to wiggle. I wonder if I can value, add opacity. But I want the opacity to be per character. Oh, no, that's not it. Opacity. But I want it to be per character. How do I do that? Because it's right now it's all of the characters. I want like the single characters to flicker, but I don't know if I can do that. Ah, yeah. Yeah, it's doing it now with ramp up. Okay. So maybe I can add it to this. Still flickering. And then just before the end, it can just go. We can copy these keyframes, copy, paste, drag them in place, and reverse, time reverse keyframes. Then they disappear, and this can be slightly faster than the in, and also I need to change the high and the ease. The ease high and low, sorry. I think it's like 3080 what I usually use. Not sure, let's have a look. And I think we need to take the pumpkin down a little bit because it's taking up quite a bit of space up top. So the pumpkin with all of its positions, let's bring it down. And the shadow, maybe like this. Let's see if we can see a little bit more of that. Everything's flickering in this animation. What? I like it, but I think this needs to be slightly longer. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a bit of time here. Oh, kind of jumps into view. I'm not sure why. Oh, it kind of jumps halfway into view. We obviously don't want that. Offset 100. Offset minus 100. 0. Okay. We obviously, like, we have these two animators, yeah, they are conflicting right now. That's the problem. But maybe I can just add this flicker to the original. And turn the random seed up. Then let's see how that does. Then it doesn't do the flickering. That's super annoying. Or... I mean, it is... I think it is... Is it doing the flickering? I don't think it is. Can't tell. Let's add another wiggle. Text. And this is going to be... Now let's duplicate the pumpkin. Let's make some room here. Okay. So. And maybe the flicker just needs to be more extreme. I don't know. Or maybe it's not the issue at all and it has to be on a separate... Yeah, it does need to be on a separate opacity. So it cannot flicker at the same time as it's animating. So let's animate the opacity again. Problem is that I don't understand this too well, which is why I'm struggling to use it correctly, the text animator. But now it's like, it's not flickering anymore. Oh, right, it's not flickering because it wasn't turned on. Yeah, and it's like half on already. That's the problem. Because why? Because the offset needs to... Or I can also animate the slider of the text. I can have the frequency. I think it's the frequency that I can manipulate. Go down to 0. And then it animates in, and then it starts flickering. Yeah, I can do that. And then it does a little flicker, but then it doesn't flicker in between. Okay, then I need to adjust that again. And I don't actually want the flicker on this. I only want the flicker on this. I want this to ramp up. But now I don't have the offset random value thing that I had before. Why? Okay, there we go. Okay. So we're animating the letters in. Oh no, they're jumping in again. Okay. Then maybe I do need to animate this. 0 to, was it 100 to 0? Okay, yeah, they're flickering. Okay, let's see. I just want to see this portion. It's not really flickering, is it? I mean, a little bit. Maybe I don't need this. Yes, I also need to animate this backwards as well. Oh, damn it. No. Okay, now we've got something. Okay, I think the sun has gone down. I've managed to complete it. I look like I'm in a hellfire. But I think we've got it. It's not perfect. The jump and roll is still a little odd, but I think we can work with this one. Where is the jump? Oh, right. Okay, sorry. I forgot to turn the whole thing on. There we go. Let's start from the beginning. Jump and roll! Happy Halloween! Yay! We did it! Alright, we've got a jumping, flickering pumpkin and some flickering text and a otherwise moving, creepy, flickering scene. I think this is not too bad, you know? And there's like little bits and pieces that don't jump out at you, like the flickering stars or the flickering house, but it's, you know, if you really focus on it, you're like, oh yeah, there's the tree is moving, the blades of grass are moving, you know, there's stuff going on. So, pretty happy with this for the time that we had, which was just about 2.5 hours to complete this. And yeah, pretty happy with that. I hope you enjoyed today's animation using AI generated vector graphics, which was kindly provided by Albert. Please do check him out. He has some very interesting videos on the topic of artificial intelligence and creating art from that. And with that, I bid you goodbye. I hope you enjoyed today's stream. If you'd like to support me, do click the thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to be notified when I stream next. I do have a bit of a sporadic streaming schedule, so it makes sense to subscribe if you want to find out when I'm streaming. You can also follow me on Twitter, where I usually announce when I'm streaming. Thanks, Sandro. Thanks for tuning in today. If you'd like to support me financially, I do also have a Patreon. You can find it in the chat or in the description below. It's patreon.com/SonjaMGFX. And if you want to be otherwise notified about all the other things that I'm doing, like classes, tutorials, blog posts, sometimes maybe, I also have a newsletter. It's also linked in the description, and you can subscribe to that mailing list and be notified about everything that is going on in the Sonja motion graphics world. Okay, I hope to see you next time and bid you a good night. Bye!